And making his second start of the series is Dave Stewart. He lost last Sunday night to the Phillies. He gave up that.
The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, and he struck him out. Dykstra gone on 3 pitches. The Phillies hitters fouling off so many pitches. Stewart walked 4 in 6 innings in game 2. Duncan to right and dropping fast. Joe Carter makes the running catch.
The defense for the Blue Jays.
The payoff pitch. Ball 4. Stewart missed up and away. And Kruk, with his bad back, is aboard at first with 2 outs.
By the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the early 50s.
In the air in shallow right. Carter charging hard. Alomar way out, and Carter makes the catch. After a half inning at Skydome, the Phillies nothing, and the Blue Jays coming up.
Become the first Phillies pitcher, make that the second Phillies pitcher to win 2 World Series games.
For center field and Dykstra, 1 out. Of course, just about all of the Blue Jay hitters had a tough time reaching base in game 5 against Curt Schilling.
A hard thrower. He'll throw the slider in on the hands and the sinker away to the right-hander.
They just walked White. They wanted to peel down to first. Dave Phillips isn't looking at Dana DeMuth. Doesn't realize they still wanted to peel.
And that is it. He allowed only 2 last year.
Mulholland to right center. Well hit. Eisenreich on the run. Looking up. It's off the wall and a half. White speeding toward third. He'll come around to score. Molitor into third with a triple. And the Blue Jays lead 1-0.
Now to score at third base with less than 2 outs.
Carter, high fly ball to left. Thompson drifting back. Thompson at the wall makes the catch. Molitor can trot in from third, and the Blue Jays lead 2-0. In this postseason, and that is a Major League record for runs in a postseason. Olerud to the gap in left center, all the way to the wall. Thompson tracks it down. Olerud stops at second with a 2-out double. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Olerud at second, 2 runs in the Toronto first. Up the middle, base hit past the diving Stalker. Olerud comes around to score, and the Blue Jays lead is 3-0. We'll be getting the call from Dionne Warwick to be on the Second Friends hotline. In the air in right center. Dykstra waving away Eisenreich, and he makes the catch for the final out of the inning. 3 runs in the first for Toronto. After 1, 3-0 Blue Jays. That's well hit to left. Ricky Henderson sprinting back on the warning track. He makes the running catch. Before the series started, we talked to Dave Stewart about his pitching philosophy.
What he's done, he has adjusted. The Phillies showed that they would take it the first time he faced them, so he's gone more to his fastball tonight.
Eisenreich on a 2-0 pitch, lines to left. Jim slumping of late, 1 for his last 10, and his only hit during that stretch was upon game 4. Milt went 0 for 3 in game 5. Sprague at third, throws him out. And the Phillies go in order in the second. After an inning and a half in Toronto, the Blue Jays 3 and the Phillies nothing. Pat O'Brien and Jim Gray at Skydome in Toronto. The Blue Jays lead 3-0 after an inning and a half. Ed Sprague with the first pitch of the home half of the second into the glove of Lenny Dykstra. 1 pitch and 1 out for Terry Mulholland. Gave up 3 runs on 3 hits and a walk in the first. Of Curt Schilling on Thursday night. Line to center and in for a hit.
Borders, last year's MVP.
That's the truth. Fly ball, shallow right center. Morandini out to make the play. 2 down, Borders at first. We're in the second. Toronto
5-year waiting period, but not for managers.
The 3-2 pitch with Borders running is strike 3. White goes down swinging. We've played 2 innings in Toronto and the Blue Jays lead 3-0.
To retire 3 in a row and now come back on Stocker.
And his 2-2 pitch is a fly ball to center. Routine play for Devon White. Game shutout in Phillies history in the postseason. Philadelphia kept the series alive with a 2-0 win. Morandini to White. 2 down.
Jim Gray was talking about how Dave Stewart was going to come out.
Ball 4. So Dykstra is aboard. He's the second Philadelphia base runner. The other was Kruk back in the first on a 2-out walk. 1-2 the count on Duncan. He struck him out. We'll return to Sky Dome after this message and a word from your local station. Feeling here in the talk that they'll be even happier for Paul Mulholland. He's not experienced the joy of winning the World Championship. That's to left and a nice running catch by Milt Thompson.
Holler on the 82 Milwaukee Brewers, and the Brewers were ahead of the Cardinals 3-2.
Third, 3-0 Toronto. Joe Carter looked at a breaking ball for strike 1. That's down to first. Kruk waves off Mulholland, 2 outs. Carter had a sacrifice fly. Terry Mulholland's father was a college baseball player, St. Vincent's in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Thompson had a tough time. The outfielders complain about line drives. Sometimes it's hard to pick them up in the lights here at Sky Dome. 1, 2, 3 go the Blue Jays in the third. A hit over the first 3 innings since Joe McGrain did it for St. Louis against Minnesota in Game 1 of the '87 World Series. And the Phillies are still hitless, 1 out into the 4th. Kruk's comebacker fielded by Stewart. Games coming your way tomorrow on CBS. Dave Holland tied up by the first pitch from Stewart. Sprayed, called for a fair catch and made it in foul ground for the second out. Championship, as Coach Wayne Jackson says, even though he's an excellent throwing catcher now, he was more of a running quarterback back then. Little looper, big trouble, and the first hit for Philadelphia. No chance for Sprague or Henderson. Dalton trying for 2, and he is safe at second. Hustling double by Darren Dalton. The payoff pitch. Little looper and a base hit. Dalton being waved around. Devon White with the throw to the plate. It's cut off. And the Phillies are on the board. It's 3-1. They beat Chicago in the ALCS in 6 games. And they're trying to win the World Series in Game 6 tonight. Eisenreich runs. Thompson bounced it to second. Alomar throws him out. 1 run for Philadelphia in the 4th after 3 1/2. 3-1 Toronto. They're having a great time at the Hard Rock. Watching Roberto Alomar lead off with a fly ball to deep left. Thompson on the run over his head and off the top of the wall. Nearly a home run. Alomar settles for a double. Mulholland has surrendered 5 hits. chopper to short. Stocker has to hurry at first to get Fernandez. Alomar third now with one out. Has a 3-1 lead, and they're threatening to score again in the fourth inning. Alomar third and one out. Sprague to right and deep enough to get the run in. Maybe better than that. Eisenreich against the fence. And Alomar is in to make it 4-1. Time up. Two shot and a base hit. Borders starting to pick it up. He was 2 for 3 in Game 5, and he's 2 for 2 tonight. Check swing, Tapper back to the mound on what looked to be ball 4, and that ends the inning. One run for the Blue Jays in the fourth after 4, Toronto 4, and Philadelphia 1.
Jose Cruz and Don Mattingly now at the Yankees. Jim Bunning.
Lined and caught by the shortstop Fernandez, who is playing in the World Series for the first time this year. Very protected gear on his front foot. Alomar boots it. A rare error by the two-time Gold Glover at second base, Roberto Alomar. It's his second error in this series. That's a big part of his success over the last several years. Dykstra in the air, not deep, in right. And Joe Carter is there, 2 outs.
Trouble.
Duncan down to third. Sprague dropped the ball and has no play. So the Blue Jays have made 2 errors here in the 5th, and that will allow the Phillies to bring the tying run to the plate. The runners will again be going with a 3-2 pitch. No question about that one. A little bit further outside. And the tying run is at first. And the go-ahead run comes to the plate for Philadelphia. They've loaded the bases without a hit. The Phillies have reached Game 6 of the World Series with very little in the postseason from their cleanup hitter. And that continues as Hollins is out on a bounding ball to first. The Phillies leave the bases loaded. They've stranded 6 halfway through the ballgame. 4-1 Toronto. Can be addicted in the case of Mulholland, who throws twice. Right to right. Eisenreich is there, 1 out. Jumped out with 3 over Toronto in Game 5. Might be available in relief tomorrow night. Or they'll be Game 6. Wilson said he wouldn't know reducing the likelihood of a Game 7 somewhat with a tremendous blast into the second deck and left. They're trailing MVP very faintly in some sections of Skydome when he stepped in. That's a chant that may pick up some steam as Mahler played the field in 3 ball games without a tip. Played very well in it. And Olerud lines one to center right at Dykstra. That ends the inning. 1 run for the Blue Jays in the 5th and the home run by Mahler. Mike on deck, and then Milt Thompson scheduled up against Stewart. In the air to center. Devon White. 1 out. Up the middle. Backhanded by Alomar. And dug out by Olerud. 2 down in the Philadelphia 6th. Milt Thompson, the hitter. He swings away at the first pitch and pops it up. Ed Sprague and Tony Fernandez. It's the third baseman making the catch and foul ground. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies. We'll return to Skydome after this message and a word from your local station.
Their offensive production has come from Molitor, and defensively, and from the pitching, Dave Stewart.
And Roberto Alomar greets Roger Mason with a line drive into right center, cut off by Eisenreich. And Alomar says, don't concede the MVP trophy to Paul Molitor just yet. Strike three. Fernandez strikes out on the high fastball for the first out of the inning. Rams have another chance to bat tonight. Very high and left. Alomar back to the bag to tag as Thompson makes the catch, and Roberto will not try to move up. Roger says he has enjoyed very much with the Phillies, as you might expect. A pop-up, Truck taking charge out in front of the plate, and that ends the inning. We've played 6 at Skydome in Toronto, and the Blue Jays lead 5-1. Stocker battling Stewart. Another 3-2 pitch is ball 4. That is the 4th walk thrown by Stewart.
They've won the big prize only once back in 1980.
Line drive, base hit. Over the glove of Fernandez. Cut off by Henderson. Stocker continues to third, and here come the Phillies. First and third, and nobody out. Well hit to right. Way back, and that one is way out of here. Second deck home run for Lenny Dykstra. And all of a sudden, it's a one-run game, 5-4. Rising to the occasion when it matters most indeed. To the top of the 7th, and Cox makes his 3rd appearance. Games 3 and 5. There's 2 innings in game 3 and allowed 1. Duncan sinking fast in center. The tying run is on for Philadelphia. Throw. One of the walks went to Truck. The 2-2 in the dirt. Check swing. They want an appeal. Strike 3. Mark Johnson rings up John Kruk. Now the 2-2 with Duncan running is ball 3. The throw. Safe. And the tying run is in scoring position. Duncan is 3rd stolen base without being caught in the World Series.
He only had 6 during the season.
The payoff pitch. Up the middle, a base hit. Duncan waved around, and he will score. 5-5. All 4 wasn't close. And the crowd is growing impatient with Cox and Gaston. That puts the go-ahead run in scoring position. High chopper could be a big problem. It will be. Everybody's safe. Bases full of Philly. Bring him in. The pitch to the left-handed hitters Dalton or Eisenreich. Summon him to pitch to Milt Thompson. Bases with 1 out. Leiter pitching on his 28th birthday. And Incaviglia drives one to center. Deep enough to bring the go-ahead run in for Philadelphia. Collins comes to the plate to make it 6-5 Phillies. Phillies have scored 5 times. He struck him out. And that ends the inning. And as they stretch at Skydome, the visiting team has a 1-run lead. Well hit to left. And the swing made it look better than it was, and Incaviglia makes the catch. 1 out. Henderson now 0 for 4. 2-2 on its way to White. He struck him out with the high fastball. White strikes out for the second time tonight.
Has to be about 3 or 4 inches more on top of you. It's tough to get your swing started against a tall guy like Mason.
To center field, and Dykstra drifts back to make the catch. Ball carried a long way. 1-2-3 go the Blue Jays in the 7th. We head to the 8th with the Phillies on. Morandini tried to bunt, and that is strike 3. That's ball 4, the first batter to reach against Al Leiter's Lenny Dykstra. Leiter had faced 3 men and retired them all prior to that walk. So a 1-out base runner for Philadelphia. Dykstra runs, Duncan a little pop-up. Alomar will handle it. And Dykstra scampered back to first with 2 outs. 1 for 5 now is Mariano Duncan. The 1-1 to Crack. Broken bat, bouncer down to third. Sprague throws him out. The Phillies have stranded 9 base runners. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-5 Philadelphia.
Mason has pitched 4 innings once.
Incaviglia goes toward the line to make the catch. 1 out.
4 innings once during the regular season. 3 innings is right-handed. All sorts of options here.
Ball 4. West walks Olerud on 5 pitches. Griffin runs this time. It's bounced down to first. They get the out there. But Cito Gaston stayed out of the double play by having Griffin on the move. Anderson's 2-2 to Fernandez. Hit it. Fans boo, but certainly that's the last thing Anderson wanted to do was put the go-ahead run on base, particularly when he had 2 strikes. The payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. More memorable situation than this. The 1-2 to Borders is a pop-up. Mickey Morandini wants it. And he makes the catch. And Toronto leaves the bases loaded in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. It's still a 1-run lead, but a 1-run deficit. Into the bottom of the 9th. It has gone to his ace closer, Dwayne Ward. Collins, then Dalton, and Eisenreich. In the air in right center. Carter a long run. White is there, and he makes the catch. One 1-0 on Dalton. 1 for 3 with a double and run scored. He's also walked tonight. Sharply hit, but right at Alomar. 2 down. Wild things, difficulties. As he give him the ball. Bottom of the 9th.
Well, you can see him in your monitor. I think with Ricky Henderson coming up, I think Larry Anderson will be called on to get out Henderson. We'll see.
Indeed we will. Ward did his job, a 1-2-3-9. Last chance for Toronto coming up during the regular season. And he'll give the ball to Mitch Williams to try to get the final 3 outs. Ball 4. Williams walks Henderson on 4 pitches to open the 9th. And now Williams is in danger of walking White. The 3-2 pitch. In the air, left center field. Incaviglia makes the running catch. He and Dykstra had an anxious moment as they looked at each other. It looked like Incaviglia thought Dykstra was going to take charge. To Mitch Williams, who was clocked in the mid-80s in his last appearance in Game 4. Line into center, falling fast, a hit. Third of the night for Molitor. Henderson stops at second.
Joe Carter, a flat-footed swing that he took at that slider from Mitch Williams. Looked awkward, didn't he?
Now the 2-2.